What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. Yet another edition of Throwback Thursday. Jeff, I know you've been enjoying the content as much as I've been enjoying digging through and putting it all up and together.
I'm not gonna lie. I was trepidatious watching this, especially my stuff. I hate watching my stuff, you know that. But it's been interesting to go back and watch it because, as I said, I become less of a dick as the shows go on Talk Wrestling, which is thank God I did because the first show was so bad. But man, you have been like reaching into the vault, man. I almost feel like I want to grab Mickey Mouse on SNL. I'm like, no, protect the content. They didn't sell. So man, such good stuff to watch, and today is no exception, sir.
Yes, thank you once again to Aaron Rift of the NoDQ YouTube channel, James Hebert of the JH95 / FTW Productions, Noel Foster from the Simple Man brand, and of course, you, good sir, for the
Yes,
Jeff Meacham Network, for allowing me access to all the content that was previously discussed in private
yes,
amongst all of you guys, because there are limitations about what can and can't be posted, but
yeah. Unfortunately,
especially a big thank you once again to Aaron Rift for allowing me access to the no DQ stuff. That stuff has really helped make the process and the Throwback Thursdays succeed and thrive, I think.
absolutely.
Sit back, relax, everybody, enjoy as we bring to you yet another week of Throwback Thursday content.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone, this is episode number 11 of Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com or MySpace or YouTube. Thank you very much once again everybody that watched the show last time. We got a lot of hits again. I can't explain the success of this show, but I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. I just gotta say before we start, it's about damn time he got a magazine cover right there. Mr. Kennedy, baby. There you go. Mr. Kennedy on the cover of the new WWE magazine. It's about damn time. That's all I gotta say about that. He should have been on the cover a long time ago, just my opinion. But he's the man. Mr. Kennedy's going to be the next superstar in WWE. I've said that more than once on this show, and I firmly believe it. Yes, he's suspended right now, but whatever. You know, shit happens. So he's still going to be the man. Let's get to your questions. A lot of people ask me about Hornswoggle being the bastard son. I'm just going to address that real quick. I think it was a rewrite. I think the original plan was to have Kennedy be the bastard son. Kennedy. But I think they had to rewrite it because people figured it out. They had to go, oh man, they can't have fans figure this out. We got to do something else. But I think that with Kennedy getting suspended, also that kind of coincided with the fact they need to rewrite it anyway. I think Hornswoggle was a good choice. I think that they're going to give Hornswoggle a really big push and have the Cruiserweight title mean more, hopefully. If they do have him get a big push, but I don't think it'll be anything long-term, unfortunately. I think the Cruiserweight Championship was kind of a joke with him as a champion, and I think that, you know, as I mentioned before, Hornswoggle's, you know, days as a main eventer are going to be limited if they do have any at all. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but for right now, I'm loving the entertainment part of it, just because Vince is just getting so pissed off and so frustrated with the whole thing, it's hysterical. So we'll see what happens with Hornswoggle. First one is from Mohammed Ripan. TNA and WWE are both on TV, but how do I get Noah, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and other indies besides watching clips on the internet? Highspots.com is your place to go, I think, for indie clips and indie shows on DVD. They have pretty much anything you could want. They have a lot of PWG events, which is the local federation out here, a great company. They have a lot of Ring of Honor DVDs, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about that. RFvideo.com is also another place to go for indies DVDs as far as Ring of Honor goes. But you can get a lot of Japanese stuff on High Spots too, if I remember right. And check out the individual promotion websites and see what they have to offer for you. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get a whole lot of indie stuff on TV anymore. But the next question from Josh Salas actually asks about the National Wrestling Alliance. It's been said the NWA will return to national TV this fall. The programming will be on the Colors Network on DirecTV. Or maybe it's Dish Network, I don't know. Do you think it will be competition for TNA and WWE? No, because it's only on satellite TV. You can get WWE and TNA on regular broadcast television. You can get it on satellite. You can get it anywhere. NWA is only being available on the satellite programming, so I really don't think that it's going to be competition per se, because it's probably not going to have the best time slot either. Unfortunately, you're probably going to see them. You know, have a moderate success with the National Wrestling Alliance television on the Colors Network, but it's not going to be a direct competition for either TNA or WWE. Sean Connell, what are your thoughts on Armando Estrada being the general manager on ECW? I'm kind of surprised by it, but I guess it's something for him to do, right? I think that it's good for him because it gets his name out there, it gets his, you know, face out there on the TV every week without having to manage Umaga anymore, because they were pushing toward Umaga being a babyface, but they kind of pulled back from that and had him destroy Jeff Hardy before he got suspended. So I don't know where they're going with this with Umaga, but I think Umaga's going to be better off on his own, and I think Armando needed something to do. They needed a GM for ECW. They kind of put 2 and 2 together and came up with 5, I think. I really do. I don't know if it's the best fit for Armando, but whatever works for them right now, I guess, you know. This is from Bill Green. What do you think of tattoos on wrestlers, and which ones are your favorite? Also, do you think visible tattoos on some wrestlers can hurt their opportunities with certain companies? Tattoos, I don't think will hurt a wrestler per se, because tattoos are viewed as cool, and they're the hip thing to do. As far as my favorite wrestler tattoos, I like the big thing that Brock Lesnar had on his back. I like the thing that Batista has on his back. God, who else has tattoos? I like the Earthquakes, the big one on his arm. I like the Rock's Brahma Bull. I like Shawn Michaels' little heartbreak tattoo on his arm. That's pretty much it. I really don't. I'm not a big fan of tattoos in general, but as far as wrestlers go, that's pretty much what I like. This is from Dan Ace. If Eric Bischoff or Paul Heyman were to join TNA, do you think either of them could turn things around and prove to be a beneficial factor to the company? Well, Paul Heyman's contract with WWE recently expired, and as a matter of fact, it expired this month, September. So he could possibly go to TNA. We'll see. Bischoff is very happy doing what he's doing right now, and doing the Hollywood scene, and living in Phoenix, and not having to travel every week, and so I don't think you'll see Bischoff join TNA. Paul Heyman could join TNA, and if he is allowed to have a little bit of reign over TNA, he may be able to turn the company around. Who knows? But TNA is doing, I think, just fine on its own right now. I think TNA is starting to move toward better things. They have the 2-hour. They announced at No Surrender. They're having a 2-hour show starting next month, actually, and it could be the big things for them. They've got new champions. They got Pac-Man Jones, who's a champion, but he can't know how to wrestle, which could be interesting for them. They got Black Machismo Jay Lethal as the X Division champion, and they've got Kurt Angle as a world champion. You can't ask for much better than that. This is from Tyler from Pasadena, Texas. I was wondering if Matt Cappotelli, the former OVW champion, is going to get a run with the WWE after his brain cancer, or is he done with wrestling? I think he deserves a shot at least. He's a great guy. That's a good question. I really don't know what the status is of Matt Cappotelli. For those of you who don't remember, he was the winner of Tough Enough along with Johnny Nitro. They won Tough Enough 3 together. But he developed a really bad brain tumor and had to have surgery to have it removed. I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know if we're going to see him back. If he does come back, he can get a run with WWE. He won't be, I don't think, a world champion in WWE like he was in OVW, or heavyweight champion, excuse me, like he was in OVW. But I think he may have a Cruiserweight Championship run, maybe, or as secondary title, like the Intercontinental U.S. title. I don't think you'll see him be a world champion in WWE by any means. This is from Dennis Figueroa. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the Masterpiece Chris Masters. Also, how long this Masterpiece gimmick will last. I like Masters. I think the gimmick's a little worn out. I think his time is done. How far can you go with this gimmick? I mean, nobody's ever broken the match lock. Well, somebody did, and now what do you do? I think they built that so far up that when Bobby Lashley finally broke the master lock before WrestleMania last year, or this year, excuse me, they kind of built it up to the point where there's no return. There's there's nothing left for him to do now. So I think that when he does come back, if he does come back, I guess he's on suspension. He's one of the guys who got suspended. He won't last too much longer, I don't think. I think they need to, unfortunately, release him because there's not much for the Masterpiece left to do. This is from Joe Mansman. I would like to know your thoughts on the Diva Search competition. Why even have it if the women who don't win get a contract anyway? That's a good question. I really don't know. I mean, the Diva Search competition has proven to produce some very hot women, don't get me wrong, but most of them get hired and then they kind of just, fade off. You still got girls like Michelle McCool who's still around. You got Candice who's a women's champion who's in the Diva Search. You got Maria who's still around. Ashley who's on Survivor right now and she's going to be around. She won the Diva Search. Layla won the Diva Search. Who else was in the Diva Search that's still with the company? I think that's it, to my knowledge. And then you got girls like Tori and Victoria who've been around for a while. And Crystal was part of the Diva Search too. And her wedding was apparently a big fiasco. Watch it on SmackDown if you haven't watched SmackDown already. Funnier than hell. Excuse me. But they do tend to hire the girls even though they don't win the competition because they apparently feel they need more divas. I think they're doing okay with the girls they have right now. I don't think they need to hire any more people as far as the women's division is concerned. I think they need to just let it be and let it run its course and let it see what happens. So I don't know why you bother having the Divas Search competition. It's a very good question though. You can go to WWE.com for that stuff too. Check out what they're doing with that. It's from Jamie Hobbs. This message is coming from an old school XMV fan. Thank you. I just wanted to say it's great to see you back in front of the camera. You always give good, legitimate answers. With the rumors of the Hart Foundation coming in, I'm just wondering if you have seen any tapes of Harry Smith, T.J. Wilson, or Natty Neidhart, and what your thoughts on them are. Well, actually, the new Hart Foundation is Harry Smith, Teddy Hart, and Natty Neidhart right now. T.J. Wilson has kind of been pushed off to the side. I haven't seen too much of Harry, Natty, or any other Hart Foundation members. I have seen Teddy Hart live. I saw him at a show in the City of Industry, about 2.5, 3 years ago, I'd say now, and he's crazy. He's absolutely a phenomenal wrestler, but he's nuts. He does stuff I've never even dreamed of. He was, getting into fights with the fans on the ring at the ringside. He was, diving off the ring, diving off the staging. He's crazy. It was awesome. I expect big things from the Hart Foundation when they're brought up to the main roster, if and when they are. They could be really, really cool. This is from Total Chaos 921 at AOL.com. What would you think it would do the TNA rating if they went to the more hardcore side and got a hardcore title? They even have the people such as Abyss, Raven, AJ, Fallen Angel, Rhino, even Bubba Ray or Devon that could make it great. The Hardcore Championship had its niche in WWE for a long time, for about 4 years, but the Hardcore title is a thing of the past. The Hardcore Championship does not need to be resurrected in any company. They don't need to have a Hardcore Championship to make TNA successful. They've got enough championships, and they don't know what to do with them. There's still rumors that they're going to fade out of the X Division. They're going to push the X Division Championship aside, which I think is a serious mistake. But having another championship brought in would be really, really stupid. If they're going to bring a championship back to anywhere, bring the Hardcore title back, bring it back to ECW and have it be their secondary title, and have hardcore rule matches. But, that's not going to happen. Travis, I dig watching the new ECW lately just because it's gotten a little bit better, but I have enjoyed watching some of the originals getting TV time, like Balls, Stevie, and Dreamer, but many have left. What do you see of the ECW's original future in the WWE? Well, Sandman got released. Sandman unfortunately got his release last week, or maybe a week and a half ago now, and it was really sad to see him go because Sandman was one of the cool guys left in the WWE. That hadn't really gotten a big chance yet. And, moving him to Raw was a big mistake. Moving him to Raw was one of the stupidest things they could have ever done. And they did it. And he belonged in ECW. Sandman was an ECW original. He fit in well with the ECW product. He fit in well with the ECW fan base. The people that were still watching ECW from the old days were like, oh, cool, Sandman's still here. And Dreamer's still here. And Stevie. And Balls. And, Nunzio. They're all still here. That's cool. But I think having him go to Raw was the beginning of the end for him. I think it was very, very stupid, and hopefully he'll find bookings elsewhere, because I love the Sandman. I've always liked that character. This is from Eric. How do you think it will ruin John Morrison's chance as an ECW main eventer now that he's been suspended? I thought the character would be garbage, but it seemed to be working pretty well. Yeah, it was working out pretty well for him. Unfortunately, he went and got himself suspended for being involved with the Signature Pharmacy situation. His mistake completely. I think that, we'll have to wait and see what happens when he comes back. He could be a main event slot again. He could be in a main event situation again. But for right now, they're going to go with Punk, and rightfully so. Punk has been deserving of this for a long time. Punk has been there with ECW from the beginning through the bad times and the worst times with them. And, he's a credible ECW champion. He had a great match with Elijah Burke at Unforgiven. And hopefully they'll lead to more things with him. But Morrison's chances are pretty good as long as he comes back and keeps his head on straight. Mike Rodano pretty much goes on a little rant here about Randy Orton. I'm just going to show you how long it was, from right here to right here. Talking about that Randy Orton's the best wrestler alive today. He's done all these things. He's beaten all these people. He's beat Undertaker, Michaels, Foley, Benoit, Triple H, Ric Flair, Batista, RVD, Rock, Jericho, 2 Battle Royal victories, Mysterio, Kurt Angle. Yeah, he is one of the best. Unfortunately, He's also proven to be a jerk. He's also proven to be a flake. He's also proven to be an unreliable person with a company. And, the fact that he got away with being involved with the signature pharmacy thing is ridiculous to me. I think he should have been suspended like everybody else, regardless of his spot at the time. I think that he deserved to get the full suspension, the full 60 days, instead of just little stuff in the wrist saying, that's a bad Randy. That was really stupid. I think they should have suspended him and, gone with somebody else and worked the storyline out, They did it for everybody else. Why can't they do it for Orton, This is from Timothy Koskuba. Hey, Jeff, what is your favorite TNA DVD? I have quite a few. 50 Greatest Moments, Bound for Glory, 05, The Best of X Division Volume 2, and Best of Bloodiest Brawls. I'm looking to add more to the collection. Which one should I get? Well, I've only seen one TNA DVD to date, and actually, I've seen two. The Best of AJ Styles Volume 1 and the Best of AJ Styles Volume 2. I bought those both for my ex, and I watched them. I liked them. I think they're both really, really good, but TNA, I haven't seen a lot of TNA DVDs. I recommend any of their pay-per-views. Their pay-per-views are always good, or most of them are always good. The 50 Greatest Moments one's a good one. If you don't know the history of TNA, you want to catch up. That's always cool. The Best of Bloodiest Brawls. I'm not into the bloody brawls really with TNA because they kind of went over the top for me. I want to get a Business DVD to see how they did with that. I want to get Christian Cage's DVD when it comes out. I want to get Samoa Joe's DVD. I want to get. I had Daniel's DVD. That's pretty good too. I actually seen that one. That's actually pretty good. But there's a few that are really, really good. There's a few that aren't so good. You just have to check them out for yourself. Joseph Souder. I was wondering what your thoughts are on Steven Richards. Personally think with the right push, he has the talent to be a main event star in WWE. I mean, look at the heel heat he got during the ring, Right to Censor days. Yeah. Stevie has a chance to be a main event star in ECW. I don't know about Raw or SmackDown, but, at one point he was one of the top heels in the company. But that was back in 2000, 2001. That time is over. He's not Right to Censor anymore. He's just plain old Stevie Richards again. I think Stevie will be a great ECW superstar for the next few years if they keep ECW around that long. I think if ECW goes away, you'll see Stevie Richards go away. I really do. I think if ECW is dissolved and put on the shelf, you'll see Stevie Richards be released, unfortunately, or be pushed in the company in some other way, like as far as a road agent or whatever. But you won't see Stevie get a main event push on Raw or SmackDown ever again, unfortunately. Just my opinion. Josh Reynolds, what do you think about the spoiler sites? Do you think it ruins the fun of watching wrestling? The best way to avoid that is to not go to those websites. If you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want to read spoilers about SmackDown or ECW or the Raw tapings that they tape Raw or Impact, don't read those results. Read the rest of the news. Read the rest of the stuff that's on NoDQ.com or on The Observer or on, PW Torch or, whatever other website you go to. PW Insider. If you don't want to read the spoilers, don't read the actual spoilers that say spoilers on them. Most of them say spoilers. SmackDown tapings here, or spoilers, ECW tapings here. Don't read those. Just go to the news part of it. Just go to the rest of the page. I don't think it ruins the fun of it because I don't let it. If I want to know what's happening in wrestling and I, happen to not be able to watch SmackDown that week or watch ECW that week and I need to find out what's going on, I read those and it makes it better for me. That way I can check it out. If my VCR doesn't work or, I have to not tape it for whatever reason, I can read the spoilers and everything's cool. So I don't think it ruins it at all. This is from Richard Bernier. Do you think the Paul London, Brian Kendrick versus David Taylor, William Regal versus the Hardys versus Eminem for the WWE Tag Team titles in Armageddon 2006 was the greatest ladder match in WWE history? The greatest ladder match in WWE history was probably the original one on pay-per-view. Scott Hall versus Shawn Michaels. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 10. Or the rematch of SummerSlam 95. That was really good, too. The one in Armageddon last year was okay. I don't think it was the best one ever, just because of, all the crazy stuff that was going on. It was a really good match, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it was the best ever. As far as that goes, I recommend you check out that match yourself and see what you think of it. But I thought it was okay, but it wasn't the best ladder match in WWE history. There have been several better ones. You had the ladder match at WrestleMania 2000, the triangle ladder match between the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge, and Christian. You had TLC 1 from SummerSlam 2000, TLC 2 from WrestleMania 17, TLC 3, which I saw at SmackDown, TLC 4, which is kind of a clusterfuck. I don't recommend that one. But there's been a ton of good ladder matches that have been better than that match. Alex Sokolov, do you think that Dave Batista's days in the wrestling profession are numbered due to his age? He is in great shape, but the years eventually catch up to you. So what do you think? I don't think Batista's done by any means. I don't think Batista's time has come yet. I think Batista still has a lot of longevity left in him. I think that Batista has a potential to be a main eventer for the next few years, hopefully. He's a world champion again. We saw it in Unforgiven. And hopefully he'll be world champion for a while. He deserves a good run, I think. Yeah, he was champion for a while, but who are you going to put the belt on? You know, the Great Khali proved that he was not a popular champion. They don't want any part of him being champion anymore, hopefully. So we'll see what happens there. But Batista's not done yet by any means. He may be a little bit older, but he's also a little bit wiser. Just want to go over the quick No Surrender results. Since we've been on the air last, No Surrender went down, and new tag team champions, Team Pac-Man Jones and Ron Killings. Black Machines of Jay Lethal won the X Division title. Kurt Angle's still the world champion. AJ and Tomko are number one contenders for the world tag team titles in TNA. Rhino came back and beat the crap out of James Storm. Christian Cage defeated Samoa by DQ, and now they brought in Junior Fatu to feud with Christian, so it should be interesting there. Unforgiven, of course. CM Punk retained, Matt Hardy MVP retained, Candice retained, Batista won the world title, Cade Murdoch retained, John Cena retained because he lost by disqualification, and Undertaker returned with a big victory over Mark Henry. And so pay-per-views, from what I heard, Unforgiven was really, really bad. No Surrender was okay, but I heard Unforgiven was really, really bad. I'm glad I didn't order it. But I heard it was one of the worst pay-per-views of the year. So unfortunately, WWE's not doing good on pay-per-view lately. So we'll see what happens there. I also have a big announcement for those of you that watch Talk Wrestling on a regular basis. Thanks to our fan Johnny Murdoch, along with his girlfriend Erica Silsby, it appears that yours truly is going to WrestleMania 24 in Orlando. I'm going to be part of the Midday Madness event on Friday the 28th, the Hall of Fame ceremony on the 29th, and the WrestleMania itself on Sunday, March 30th. Now, details aren't really confirmed yet. I haven't really made sure I'm going yet. But if I do go, I'll be sure to bring a picture camera. I'll try to get a video camera to go with me if I can. We're going to try to get some stuff filmed there, hopefully, for you guys, so you can see WrestleMania weekend live and up close. And we'll see what happens there. And again, thank you very much, everybody that watched this week. Next week, we're going to be on hiatus for a week. I'm going to be in D.C. for a week. So thank you to those of you that watched the show this week. Next week, we'll be preempted by NoDQ TV reruns or something. I don't know what Aaron's going to put up. We'll have to just wait and see. But for right now, this is number 11 of Talk Wrestling, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams, coming to you live from Chuck E. Cheese of all places. So I apologize to you right now for the background noise. Alright? I'm trying to play me some Deal or No Deal.
You chose case number 3.
For my nephew's 3rd birthday, I'm picking case number 3.
And Jay, who is behind the camera today?
Mr. TW himself, my Dad's on Wrestling co-host, Jeff Meacham. Let's see how I do here real quick.
Let's see. That's all right. That's all right.
It's not that good to start that high first off in the
True.
Let's go a little bit lower. Let's try 4. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Not much news to talk about this week in wrestling. We just had WrestleMania last night. Oh, that's fail.
Oh,
I just had the
fail.
biggest number.
There it goes.
That's fail. Just had WrestleMania last night. Raw is happening live as we speak. I am missing Raw to be at my nephew's birthday party.
That's because JJ
how
rules right
dedicated
there.
I am.
We love JJ.
That is how dedicated
We love
I am.
JJ.
But you know what? Let's try number 5. Number 5.
There we go.
But Dad's on Wrestling. Post-WrestleMania show should be up shortly. There's been
already,
some technical difficulties
Yeah.
bringing it up today. Me and Jeff and the LB Kid talked about WrestleMania. So 5 tickets, no deal. Come on, dude. Seriously? That's failed. Me and Jeff already talked about WrestleMania. So the only thing I can really talk about right now, as we speak, is the fact that WrestleMania next year is going to be in Miami. I'm wondering, I'm going to speculate right now, throw it out there. I think The Rock's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame next year.
Wouldn't surprise me, dude.
They're going to be in The Rock's hometown, Miami, Florida. Even she's upset. That just failed. They're going to be in The Rock's hometown of Miami, Florida next year. I think that would be the opportune time to put him in the Hall of Fame, especially if he goes through with this program with Cena. I mean, we all saw last night in WrestleMania, the Rock bottom. 5 again? That's what you just offered me, dude. I said no the first time. We saw him rock bottom Cena last night at WrestleMania. So especially if they go through with this program and Rocky passes the torch to John Cena, like Hogan passed the torch to Rock many years ago, I could definitely see The Rock going in the Hall of Fame next year. Aside from that, NWA this past week, NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Sorry.
Put the freckly thumb down, Julio. NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood this past week aired the Colt Cabana Scrap Iron Adam Pierce match that I was at live.
It was Jade, yeah. We were we were supposed to be there.
I was there live. I got to see the NWA title change hands for the first time in my life.
Oh, wow.
It was really awesome to be there live. The crowd was dead afterwards. There was nothing else to do. They tried to throw more matches at us, and we're like, seriously? You just burned us out.
Right.
If you haven't gotten to see it, go to Google, look up NWA from Hollywood, or NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Go to the website, watch the video online. It is probably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen live, and that's no joke. That's fail. I took no deal, and I got 3 tickets.
There's your 3 tickets right there. There you go.
Just This is what I get for missing Raw for my nephew's birthday. 3 lousy tickets.
That's fail. Oh well.
But in all seriousness, next week's show will be back to more the regular because I'll have the Hall of Fame to report on. I'll have the Raw after WrestleMania to report on, the SmackDown after WrestleMania to report on, and the craptastic TNA Impact that we could probably flush down the toilet.
Although we do know that we're missing Road Dogg on the Hall of Fame because he's not part of the 1-hour broadcast.
That we do know. That's fail, WWE. You bring back the Road Dogg Jesse James for the Hall of Fame and you don't put him on the TV program, that's fail. So, anyways, I apologize for this episode being obscenely loud with the background noise. I apologize for this episode being obscenely horrible with the lack of news, but we did just kind of go over everything on Dads of Wrestling, which should be up now, hopefully. There's an error message when I get home. I'm going to find Verizon Internet, and I'm going to choke somebody, Benoit style.
Jay, damn.
So, with that being said, be on the lookout for a brand new Dads of Wrestling this coming Thursday. Don't be scared. It's one we've had in the can, but it's a really good episode. We're going to be talking about the greatest moment in the last 10 years this week on Dads of Wrestling. So, again, I apologize for it being short. I apologize for it being kind of uninformative. I just felt like I owed it to you. And hey, we're at Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be a kid. So I'm going to play some more Deal or No Deal, try and win my nephew some more tickets. Till next week, I'm the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, and I'll see you then.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Tells me everything you... Oh. Hi. It's that Boy Rants, episode 11, and that was my... Thank you. That was my little shout out to the Long Island Ice Z, Zack Ryder. He's got his own little internet show going on. He's 30 episodes strong. Good job, Zach. I actually watched 3 of your episodes just this morning. And that's right, yes. You know, he's basically got a simple setup, just kind of like we do. He's got his big broski poster back here. He talks about spiking his hair. Woo, 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 you know it. All that good stuff. And he's got, like, I guess it's his cell phone. I don't know what kind of camera he uses. But I like his show. In fact, I'm going to send out a tweet to Zack Ryder, and I'm going to ask him for the Broski of the Week. That's right. And if I don't get to hear anything back, how about every episode, I'm going to look more like Zack Ryder. I'm going to go to WWE Shop, shameless plug, I'm going to buy your Broski shirt, I'm going to buy your sunglasses, I'm going to buy your headband. I'm not going to use the gel, though, because I'm already spiking up as it is. And, I'll send you a tweet, and I'll join you on Facebook, just like you guys can do with me. Join me, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, buy the sunglasses, buy. So yeah, it's a great show. I like it. So I'm going to say this on record that Zack Ryder's Long Island, Zack Ryder's Z True Story is Statboy approved. Hashtag. Anyway, let's get on to the other stuff. Oh, come on now. Fallout from Raw from last night was the big thing was a vote of no confidence in Triple H's holding of Raw. You know, everyone comes out to the ring, and I mean everybody. Even the referees got their own little thing coming in, and you know the Divas came out. SmackDown came out, Raw came out, the announcers were by the table, and Triple H is, all right, you know, I can't believe that all my talent has turned into a bunch of babies. And it was like, well, I don't want to work for a company that's full of chaos and drama, and I'm afraid. And then, let me give a shout out to Beth Phoenix here. She's this, you know, tough Divas wrestler champion, you know, and the first line she says is, "Hunter, we're girls." Whoa. If you're a female, okay, and you have a tough job as a living, be it a wrestler, a cop, a firefighter, a paramedic, you know, a soldier, and you come out and you say, I'm a girl. Where is the... What's up? I mean, you're tough. You've got... Do you think there are women in Iraq that do stuff like that? Hell no! They take their AK-47s and they blow shit up. They're out there fighting for our country, and then, you know, if they have going an interview, I'm a girl. That was crazy. And every point that every wrestler gave, Triple H, you know, just pretty much shot him down. And then last comes Jerry Lawler, who, last I heard, he wasn't scheduled to be on Raw. So, but he comes out, and he's not happy. Now, he has a legitimate beef. He has a legitimate gripe. I mean, I think if you're sitting behind the announce table, doing your job, you shouldn't get messed with the talent in the ring. Like, you know, Mark Henry picked him up last week. He got injured and all that. That's a legitimate thing. You know, the boundary between wrestler and announcer should not be crossed. They're doing their job, you know, telling us what we need to know, and the wrestlers are doing their job, kicking ass and entertaining. So, you know, and then next thing you know, everybody starts, and also the referees too. They're to do a job as well. They're the count to three. I think was it Mike Chioda last night? Yeah, Mike Chioda said, you know, I've been in this business 20 years. I don't want to get decked. Well, you're a referee, Mike. I mean, that's why they trained you to be a referee, you know. So, you know, and then, you know, everybody starts walking out. Everybody walks out. The SmackDown crew walks out. The Divas walk out. The referees walk out. The funny part was the cameraman even walked out, which was really, it's like even the cameramen are starting to worry. And then Cole grabs up his iPad and his notebook and he storms off. Booker goes next, and it almost looked like he had tears in his eyes, like he didn't want to leave. And then it all came down to JR, and you know, there's a shot of Triple H, and he looks over at JR, you gonna go? And at first, JR didn't want to go. I could tell. But then he picked up his stuff and his left, and the crowd stuck behind Triple H, which they should. You know, you still got it, you still got it, Triple H, Triple H. So now we have no idea what's going on. We're assuming that SmackDown is still going on. I mean, I don't think they're going to walk out of SmackDown and all that. There is a clip. This is breaking news to those watching. After Raw went off the air, Triple H is still in the ring, and the crowd goes, "You still got it. You still got it." And then, honestly, out comes Zack Ryder again with his little camera phone and all that stuff, and he comes into the ring and he says, "You know what, Triple H? I can't walk out now. My YouTube show is going well. I'm over with the fans and all this stuff." And he gets into the ring and he's got his camera there on Triple H. He goes, "Am I on your show right now?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm filming right now." So they take the camera like this, and they're going like this, right? And Triple H gives this goofy little smile, like, you know, "Woo woo woo, you know it." Woo, you know. And then he kicks Ryder in the stomach and hits the pedigree right in the middle of the ring. Grabs the camera again, smiles, waves, and walks off to the crowd. So that was very fun to see. So like I said, I think Triple H is still doing a good job, you know. And then the mystery person that came back, or that I mentioned, was Santino Marella. And now he's got a little hating on Santino? He's got a full head of hair, which happens when you're away, and he has a little sock on his hand in the shape of a cobra, which he takes off and throws in the kind of and he hit the cobra on, who did he fight last night? Let's see, who, does it really matter who it was? Oh yeah, Jinder Mahal. Speak English! Sin Cara can do it, and he's Mexican. Great Khali is learning English. Why can't Jinder Mahal speak English? Because he's from India, where Indians come from? I don't know. I mean, speak English. If you're going to come to this country to work, learn the language. Ain't that the truth? Let me touch on another subject that I read about Monday Night Football. This was interesting. You know, I love Monday Night. I love football in general, but Monday Night Football when it was on ABC, you know, would always start with Mr. Hank Williams Jr. Are you ready to rock? Da-dun-dun-dun-dun. Are you ready to roll? Dun-dun-dun-dun. Are you ready for Frank and Alan Dan with the primetime show? Are you ready for some football? ESPN took the intro out. Why? Because apparently Mr. Hank Williams has a problem with President Obama and Joe Biden playing golf. He compared them to Adolf Hitler and the Israeli Prime Minister playing golf together. Now, the comment is stupid because Obama likes to play golf. In fact, all presidents like to play golf at some point. I thought Obama liked to play basketball. I didn't think he was a golfer. You know, I'm taken back to President Bush. If you've ever seen Fahrenheit 9/11, you know, here's President Bush. He goes, ironically, he's in his golf clothes, and he's got his golf club in his hand, and he goes, America will be safe. Now watch this drive. He takes his golf club and he whoosh, and it's like, okay, why are you doing this, Mr. President? So Obama and Biden are out there playing whatever, and Hank Williams says his statement in an interview. And so ESPN punishes Hank Williams by pulling the Monday Night Football intro. And their official statement is that although Hank Williams Jr. is not an employee of ESPN, he's still connected to Monday Night Football, and we don't want anything connected portrayed in the wrong light. That is so dumb. I'm sorry. You know, I even thought when Monday Night Football left ABC to go to ESPN, that was a dumb move, because, you know, now with the digital stuff, if you don't have cable, if Rabbit Ear still exists, I don't know how the TV systems go. If you don't have those other channels, you don't get Monday Night Football, and that's punishment as well. You know, I mean, I watch TV not as much as I used to before cable and all that came into play, but it's like, you know, what if you don't watch Monday Night Raw, you know, or something like that? So, you know, that's just pure stupidity. So, I'm just doing, I think we're pretty much done for the day. I gotta look up your comments again. You know, keep them coming, good or bad. We have a new logo. I made it my Facebook page. It's a very good logo. I'm sorry I don't have your name right now, but it's a very cool logo. Thank you very much for doing that, whoever did that. We might even make a shirt out of it. That's in the talk. So I gotta find this person, and we'll come and we'll get in contact. But it's a great logo. It's basically a white mannequin head with my glasses and a long handlebar mustache. It says Statboy Rants, Statboy approved, hashtag. This guy is talented. Again, I'm sorry I don't have your name right now, but I'll get that. We also have a new Facebook page titled Statboy Rants. I posted on there that this page is Statboy approved, so thank you to that. Like that. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, now I'm going back to the Zack Ryder thing. Zack Ryder, I want to be a broski of the week and all that stuff. And who knows? Maybe we'll bring you from the LI to the LBC. Maybe you can be a guest on my show, and maybe I can have 1,000 fans or 1,000 views. That's all I want. I just want fans and friends. That's all I want. So, for this episode of Statboy Rants, I am Statboy Mike Caldwell, and Statboy is out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
NoDQ&A is the greatest. And the cat has spoken. Oh yeah, and I'm an attention whore who likes to be in every video. There you go. Welcome everyone to NoDQ&A. I am Aaron Riff, the owner of NoDQ.com. If you want to check out the cat, go to youtube.com/thecatdiaries. But if you're here for wrestling discussion, let's get right down to it. Alright. Hey Aaron, do you think Kurt Angle will ever return to WWE in a wrestling capacity or otherwise? I think there's a good chance that we will see Kurt Angle in a WWE ring again someday. At the very least, I think he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame when he's done with TNA. As far as coming back into the ring, I think a lot of it depends on if WWE will give him a part-time schedule. I do not see Kurt Angle returning to WWE on a full-time basis like in the past. I think if he does come back, it'll be something similar to what Shawn Michaels had, where he'll work the television shows, but he won't be on the road a lot doing house shows or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good chance that we'll see Kurt Angle compete in a WWE ring again at some point. It just, if I had to bet, I would say yes. Hey Aaron, are you a fan of Jeff Hardy in TNA or WWE? Personally, I like his heel promos, but I like his in-ring work in WWE. What do you think? Well, first of all, I'm not really a big fan of Jeff Hardy as a heel and on the mic. Jeff Hardy he's never really been known for his promos. What Jeff Hardy's been known for is, taking all the crazy risks, doing the high-flying moves that fascinate the crowd and put them in a frenzy. When you turn him heel, that pretty much takes away his whole act, because the babyface is the one that does all the big spots. The heel is the one that keeps the pace slow and puts the rest holds on, and you cheer for the baby face to make the big comeback. So being a heel totally goes against what Jeff Hardy's character is. And, Jeff Hardy's always been like the underdog. You want to see him make his comeback. He's the small guy, not really, the big muscular guy. So, yeah, I was never a big fan of Jeff Hardy as a heel in TNA. And as far as the in-ring work goes, there's a reason for that. Jeff Hardy was pretty much phoning it in TNA. He's there for a paycheck like a lot of those guys. He's not there because he really wants to be there. He's just there because it's a job. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is with TNA. And WWE, it's the big show, and he's going to go out there and give it his best. Otherwise, he wouldn't be working there. All right, let's see what else we have here. How will they get rid of Hulk Hogan from TNA? Is it contract-wise, or does he really have to make this company implode? What I think it's going to come down to is that either Hogan's contract will expire, and TNA will just not want to pay him what he wants. Or something will happen with Spike TV. Either they will want to keep him, or they will want to get rid of him, depending on what direction. Because Spike TV has a lot of influence with TNA in terms of the product. Spike TV's pumping in money. Spike TV might be helping TNA run some more shows out of the Impact Zone. So it all depends on what all sides want to do with Hogan. If they feel that the Hogan brand name is still valuable, then they'll keep him around. If not, then Hogan and TNA will go their separate ways. That's just the way it is. What are your thoughts on TNA's direction post Bound for Glory? Do you think it will get worse than it already is, or do you think they will start to make their program at least watchable? Bottom line here is nothing is going to change until they get a new creative team. As long as they have the same people running the show, nothing's going to change. There you go. How is it remotely possible that TNA has been in the business longer than the original ECW? Two things. Deeper pocket and good timing. Deeper pockets. You know, Hogan, RVD, Jeff Hardy, all these guys staying. TNA could afford to pay those big contracts. You probably would have never seen a guy like Hulk Hogan in ECW. There would have been no way that Paul Heyman could afford to pay Hogan that kind of money. And just the timing situation. When ECW got their TV deal with TNN, a year later WWE ended up on TNN, and result ended with ECW losing their TV deal. With TNA, it was the opposite situation. WWE was leaving TNN, and therefore it gave TNA the opportunity to come step in and take WWE's spot on the network. So yeah, I mean, it basically comes down to those two things. Do you think Kane will retire within the next year? Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance it's coming close to the end for Kane. I think his run in 2010 was his last big run as a main event player. I think, you know, he's getting up there. He's in his mid 40s, I think, somewhere around there, and he's probably only has a few years left, if that. But yeah, I mean, he's had a great run. Definitely one of the top big men in the last 10 years for WWE, and you know, he had a great career. There's not really much else for Kane to do, really. He's done everything I think that he was meant to do. So there you go. All right, that about does it for NoDQ&A here on NoDQ.com. You can submit your questions, formspring.me/AaronRift. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Subscribe. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my opinions? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear from everybody. And that about does it. We'll see you next time for NoDQ&A.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. Elimination Chamber retrospective. WrestleMania Retros coming to the Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated channel. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. The entirety of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play series. AEW Revolution watch-along coverage featuring Noah Foster and James Hebert. Wrestle Kingdom 17 coverage in conjunction with the Jeff Meacham Network. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Royal Rumble Match Marathon with retros of events following Marathon. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Welcome everybody to this episode of Double Down with Double A. As always, it's my pleasure to be out here. I am your host, Double A. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about everything: sports, wrestling, current affairs, stuff that's just going on out there. I talk about everything. I don't just talk about one topic. For those of you that's been living under a rock, the reason why I'm rocking all my Detroit stuff is because last night my favorite team, the Detroit Tigers, they clinched the American League Central Division. They're now the division champions. They're off to the playoffs. They're in a pennant race. World Series, here we come. I am happy about that. I give them big ups for this one because this is their first Central Championship since 1987. Yes, they've been to the playoffs ever since then, but they clinched it. They squeezed in on wild cards. This is their first division championship since 1987. I gotta give them big ups for that one. The Lions, they're starting off. They're starting off pretty good. They're starting off pretty strong. Their defense is looking good. Their offense is looking even better. They got a good win last week against Tampa Bay. 27-20 tomorrow. I don't know when this is going up, but tomorrow, this is being taped Saturday before the game. They're going up against KC. It's going to be a squash. KC is not, they have a decent squad, but not as good. They're starting off undefeated. U of M, they're starting off very strong. They're now 3 games into the season, 3 games out of 10, and guess what? They're still undefeated. They're, I could definitely see them in a Rose Bowl. That later on this year, for going for some kind of championship, maybe even a national championship. But their biggest challenge is they got to get past Michigan State, and they got to get past Ohio State, and I truly believe this is their year to do so. Hail to the victors valiant. This week in wrestling, there's not much I really want to talk about, with the exception of the fact, yes, we have a pay-per-view coming up. I'm not going to touch too much on that one, but however, there's a few key points I want to talk about. This past week on Raw, we had a pretty good promo at the end of the night with Triple H and CM Punk. They went back and forth. You can't really pull fault on anybody for what they were saying, because both men were talking the truth on both parties. It ended where Triple H gets clocked with a microphone, and CM Punk hits Triple H with his own taunt with a DX suck it. I thought that shit was great. I was laughing my ass off at the end. It's like I said, we got a pay-per-view going on tomorrow. I don't have to go over the card. For those of you that are wrestling fans like I am, the card, what's gonna go, what's gonna be happening. There's 3 matches that's gonna stand out. You got Punk versus Triple H. You got Henry versus RKO. You also have Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. You got the 2 mid-card matches in the Divas match. I could go either way on them. It's not, take them or leave them. But the match I am looking forward to is Triple H versus Punk. I think that's going to be a great match. It's going to be a stellar match, win, lose, or draw. On both parties. That's the match I'm going to be looking forward to out of all the entire night. Now, another match I'm going to talk about is RKO versus Mark Henry. Now, on this one, all I got to say is this. A lot of people are saying Mark Henry has to win the world title tomorrow night. It can happen, but it won't happen. Personally, I think they're going to drag this storyline out a little bit longer. They're not going to give him the title just yet. I could see them putting the strap on him even as a transitional champion, even if it is just as a transitional champion, by the time Survivor Series comes along. Mark my words, that's what I see. That's about it for right now. Be sure to check out the other shows on this channel. You got the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. You got After the Bell with Jeff Meacham. Also, you have Boy Rants with Boy himself, Mike Caldwell. And of course, you got this show, Double Down with Double A, with yours truly. That's about it for right now. Oh yeah, be sure to check out Dad's Arm Wrestling with Jeff and JJ at the same time. That's about it for right now. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Until next time, I am your host, and I'll see you next time.
Let's begin now. And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, Dads of Wrestling fans, to episode 11 of Dads on Wrestling. I am one of your hosts, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. With me, as always, Mr. TW, Jeff Meacham.
Thank you.
Host of his own highly successful, as I'm sure you all know, Talk Wrestling. The brains behind the production. But anyways, our last week's installment, we covered WrestleManias 1 through 9. And now we're going to pick up right here and continue running, starting with WrestleMania 10 through WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 10, what I remember the most about it was the curtain jerker.
Yes.
Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Owen Hart finally getting out of his brother's shadow a little bit, able to show the world that he's just as good, if not a little bit better, than his big brother.
On that night, he was, no doubt about that. You know, and that feud carried for a good 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
It kind of died out a little bit in '95 and toward '96, '97 because Bret had other issues to deal with, obviously. But you know, they carried that until after WrestleMania 13.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that was one of the last really great feuds because everyone knew they were brothers. Everyone knew they loved each other. That they were going over to Hart House every Sunday and having family dinners and shit.
Absolutely.
But they did not talk to each other on the road. They took separate flights so they wouldn't have to see each other. They played the angle.
They made us believe.
Yes, they made us believe in a world where everyone knows it's fake. Everyone knows that it's scripted. They made us believe that they were really having family turmoil.
Yep, fraternal issues. And then, of course, you had Bret defeating Yokozuna at the end of the night. You had Luger, Yokozuna, Mr. Perfect referee debacle.
You had Shawn versus Razor
at WrestleMania 10, which
the ladder match.
You know what? Everybody talks about that match and beats it to death with an ugly stick made for a horse. Seriously, it was one of the greatest matches of all time. It was the trend setter. But in today's market, with these ladder matches aplenty, it just doesn't seem as special anymore to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Which is why...
Even as a newer fan as compared to you, I hold the WrestleMania 10 ladder match as the setting stone all the way up until No Mercy 99, when the Hardys and Edge and Christian, match 5 in the Terry Invitational Tournament, to the tag team ladder match and just shattered Shawn and Razor.
Yes.
But that was the standard bearer for a good 5 years.
But at the end of the day, I had a hard time putting that in that poll.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do we really want to sit through a match that we've all seen 100 times, over and over again?
But it's a definitive WrestleMania moment.
It is. But so
and especially when we're talking about Shawn Michaels' storied career.
Right, but also...
The first two matches everyone thinks about, I hate to keep cutting you off.
That's okay, no worries.
But the first two things everyone thinks about for Shawn Michaels is Iron Man ladder.
And Iron Man just too goddamn long.
Then comes Ric Flair, then comes Undertaker.
Right. And
it's almost in that order. Iron Man, ladder, Flair, Taker.
Yeah, and Undertaker's not just WrestleMania, it's all their battles. Royal Rumble, Hell in a Cell, Ground Zero. The Undertaker Shawn Michaels story is just an awesome one to tell. But WrestleMania-wise, that one did end up winning the poll. At least it was winning last time. Actually, I haven't closed the damn poll yet. It's not WrestleMania yet, baby.
Yeah, we're probably not going to close it until we get another,
couple
whatever.
weeks in, yeah. So, WrestleMania 10 led to all those things, and then we led into 11, which Shawn took that main event kick in the butt and went, all right, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to challenge my friend, Big Daddy Cool, for the WWF Championship in the sub-main event. Because LT's got to get the big payday. Wow. Granted, LT did a phenomenal job for as little training as he had.
Yes.
No question. But when you have the guys that are carrying the company on their backs, and it's quite a load to carry because the WWF 95 sucked all kind of balls. Okay? For them to be relegated to a semi-main because LT came in for a big payday and they had to pay all those damn football players.
Including future Four Horsemen, Steve Mongo McMichael.
That is today's fail. I think right there.
I don't know. I think I can top you, but we'll wait till we get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
For 11, Mongo McMichael is the fail.
No, for 11,
LT.
The whole LT football players, ridiculous amount of money being showed out.
Salt and Peppa sending him to the ring.
That was actually okay. I didn't mind that part because they were shaking and they were doing their whole thing.
They had enough to shake.
They had enough to shake, especially the middle one. Yeah. There you go. Anyway,
so WrestleMania 12.
Was she salt and or pepper, by the way? I'm just curious.
The middle one was Spinderella.
All right. Well,
the DJ.
Then we'll call her salt. Okay. I don't even know what that means. 12. Okay. 12 upsets me. I know Jay's done for a minute. So I'm gonna carry 12 here. 12 upsets me to this day. Granted, it had a great Iron Man match. It had a clusterfuck Piper Goldust match.
Yes.
It had the debut of Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yes.
It had the debut of Stone Cold at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Why does it upset me?
Yes. Why?
Because the point where Shawn Michaels landed, about 3 rows back, I was supposed to be sitting there. I was supposed to get tickets for Mania that year. I know. Our cameraman's blowing me away with the legendary gun back there. I was supposed to be going, and the tickets fell through because of financial situations, and then Shawn does his little entrance, and I'm going, he's going to land. Yeah, oh, yeah, he did. Mother.
Well, see, WrestleMania 12 to me was kind of the genesis of my knowledge of wrestling.
True.
On a bigger scale. I mean, anybody growing up in the 80s kind of heard about rock and wrestling and Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan's rock and wrestling cartoons. You know, I wasn't into wrestling, but I still watched those cartoons because it was Saturday morning cartoons, baby.
Brad Garrett is Hulk Hogan. There you go.
Freaking a bowl of cereal, some Apple Jacks, some Cocoa Krispies, and Hulk Hogan's rock and wrestling. And I wasn't even a fan then.
Well, that's why you enjoyed it. You were on a sugar high.
Hey, there you go. But anyways, because I was going to City College back in those days, and my good buddy, godfather of my daughter, Bruce
Edwards,
huge Bret Hart fan, and the uncle of my daughter, Mike, a.k.a. Stat Boy, a.k.a. for those of you that went to Gorilla and are in the know, Indiana Tard Boy, huge Shawn Michaels fan. So, for weeks on end, leading up to Mania, dude, who do you think's going to win, Shawn or Bret? Dude, who do you think's going to win, Shawn or Bret? Like he was going to get a different answer.
Yeah, seriously.
One wanted Bret, one wanted Shawn. I was indifferent. I was the guy, dude, wrestling is gay. It's a bunch of guys in Speedos and baby oil wrestling around on the mat touching each other. You're queers.
Well, we both walked off. That's a first. There you go. We both walked off at the same time.
Fast forward 5 years, I'm co-hosting one show and I have my own on YouTube. So,
5 years.
You know, I'm the fail. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
No, WrestleMania 12 in 96. So
yeah, and this is 2011.
15 years. You said 5.
Oh, shit.
WrestleMania 12's fail today is from JJ himself. There you go. WrestleMania 12, there was no fail except I lost my tickets and Jay messed up on his math. That's okay. So Jay's memory shit and his math not so good either.
My math is awesome when it comes to money, but you put down, fractions and all that other shit, and I'm just fail.
So fractions. So 5 out of 5 is 1. So how do you?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
I'm still a firm believer that 1 + 1 makes 11.
That's right, baby.
You stand them next to each other and it does. Just the same. WrestleMania
13. You cannot look past Bret Hart and Steve Austin.
No.
That was the whole story of the night. Yes, you had Sid Taker. Yes, you had Triple H Goldust. Yes, you had the tag battle between the Cornette's camp and Vader and not Vader when Mankind was Cornette's camp. No, it wasn't. Vader and Mankind. Oh, and Bulldog. That's right.
Yes.
God, I'm so tired. And you had all these great things, but at the end of the night, the image of Steve Austin with his bloody forehead and face passing out from the sharpshooter will be the definitive moment of that WrestleMania.
Especially since they turned it into a T-shirt, the old school Blood from a Stone shirt.
You know what? I had that shirt for the longest time. I had to sell it on eBay for money, but I regret that to this day. Well, that in fact I'm about 2 sizes bigger than that now. So
yeah, you know.
Big picture, it didn't matter anyway. As is, I'm squeezing the Double A's WrestleMania 23 jersey here because I forgot my WrestleMania shirts because I'm that much of an idiot this week.
Yeah, now you walk off the beam.
I know.
WrestleMania 13 also, of course, had the WrestleMania debut of The Rock, Rocky Maivia, versus the Sultan, a.k.a. Rikishi,
which will be our
head shrinker Fatu, you know, quite a few, you know,
personalities on Rikishi's
family
part,
thing. Rocky Johnson, Rock's dad got involved at the end of the match, which that's the main thing I remember about that match, and part of why I pushed for it to be in our WrestleMania Rewind days, because you know, not growing up in the 80s, the fact that okay, here's The Rock and his dad is getting involved in Mania. Awesome! I marked out huge for that the first time I saw it.
I'm just so glad in the interim of whatever it was, 11 years, Rocky cleaned himself up a little bit for the Hall of Fame induction because he was a mess in '97.
Hey, and Rocky Johnson didn't go on to be a bargain basement Ed McMahon on the Abraham Washington show. I'm just throwing that out there. WrestleMania 14.
Shawn and Steve.
Yeah.
Shawn and Steve.
The
Undertaker,
dumpster match.
Kane. Any of those. You can take anything from that WrestleMania and
it was an awesome Mania.
Except for The Rock, Jennifer Flowers. That's the fail of that WrestleMania right there. I'm sorry. I love The Rock.
Hey, The Rock and all his pimpdom was just throwing catchphrases.
Watch your Rock. Watch Jennifer's People's Champion. It's like that's super Rock. That's great. Just, yeah. Anyway.
So Jennifer, you smell what The Rock is cooking?
She's like, yeah, it smells like Arkansas. Anyway. Wow. Well, of course, Jennifer, anything smelled like Arkansas after that, you know.
Owen and Hunter.
Yeah. That was another great with China and Slaughter.
Yeah, Slaughter handcuffed.
And then we come to 15, and JJ's first watching that night.
Yes.
WrestleMania.
And the two images that stick out the most for me from WrestleMania 15, and they weren't even great moments by any means when you get like to the nitty-gritty, but the two images that stand out in my mind from WrestleMania 15 is Butterbean knocking the shit out of Bart Gunn in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, after that long build-up for the Brawl for All and Bart Gunn kind of being billed as this legitimate tough guy contender, here comes Butterbean. Boop.
Yeah. Yep. Butterbean sent Bart Gunn's head about 15 different directions.
Yeah.
Literally.
And moment number 2, everybody forgets and credits WrestleMania 16 as the WrestleMania debut of Edge and Christian. The Brood descending from the rafters to the top of the cell, lowering the noose through the cell for The Undertaker to hang the big Boss Man. Rest in peace, Boss Man. But those two images are the ones that got ingrained in my skull there for the first time watching, because they were the most spectacle out of that show.
Which is why...
Then you had like the epic fail of D'Lo Brown and Test
against
versus Owen and Jarrett.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they won a battle royal on Heat and were the last 2 men in the battle royal, and they get a tag shot. They'd never teamed together before. They were nothing.
They were fighting at the end of the battle royal. Like, oh wait, we won.
It's like, and you expect us to win the belts? Come on, seriously. Where's the legitimate team? You had them then.
And then you have 2000.
Yes.
I was there.
I wasn't, because my first live event was the Raw
the night after. Yes.
We had contemplated getting tickets, but we couldn't justify spending the hundreds of dollars that they want for WrestleMania tickets when we were just scratching the surface of our fandom.
Well, the great part about that was my friends went to SmackDown that was in LA, or whatever it was, the previous October, I think it was. Priority seating for WrestleMania. So we got so we got the little pamphlet in the mail, and it's okay, we got these tickets. So I sat in the front row of the 400 section, which was not expensive tickets, and I was right on top of the entrance where I saw Jericho turn around and do his thing. He looked up like right at me pretty much. That was cool. 2000 was a great WrestleMania for the most part, but not one regular one-on-one match.
No, every match was a gimmick.
Every match was a gimmick in one way or another. So that and it made it cool.
Which brings us to 17 in the gimmick battle royal. You know, you had Austin Rock 2.
This guy here is going to make me watch a gimmick battle royal as part of a WrestleMania rewind. That's all I'm throwing out there.
You got to. It's a WrestleMania moment. Look at it this way, okay? If we're going to do the 25 women of WrestleMania with the fail of Santina Marella,
which I don't want to do either,
then why not throw Hillbilly Jim and the Iron Sheik in there for one more glorious moment? You know, Bobby Heenan on commentary again.
And Gene, and that's
okay.
All right.
The grand scheme of things, Jeff. The grand scheme of things.
But then Rock and
Austin Rock 2,
which was the better one of the two.
I always had a partiality to 3, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to 3 next episode. Yes. You know, Austin Rock 2, Vince and Shane.
Yeah.
You know, any of those. And then 18.
Yeah.
The ascension, the return of Triple H,
Yes.
winning the Undisputed Championship
Yes.
from Chris Jericho, Hogan and Rock.
Yes.
You know.
Icon versus icon.
And the match in between, the women's title match, kind of like, oh yeah, we forgot about the girls. Go out there and do that.
Never been a Hulkamaniac. As I got through the years in watching, I started to become less of a Rocky fan. That match still sent chills on my spine.
Oh, definitely. The moment of them staring each other down in the ring was enough
Yeah.
to send chills up my spine, and the rest of it was just golden.
What about you guys? What do you think about 10 through
Let us
18?
know.
Leave us comments, let us know. Until next time, I'm the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams.
I am Mr. TW, Jeff Meacham. I can't say TW, but that's okay.
We'll see you next time.